Sometimes all people want to do is be listened to. Sometimes all people want to do is just be in the same room as somebody else, so they're not alone, sort of thing. They don't always need a quick fix solution. They don't always need like, oh, do this, do that sort of thing. But yeah, a lot of topics going on there. A lot of stuff that I am not qualified to talk about. A lot of stuff that I don't have first-hand experience with either. So it kind of, I don't know, it always feels kind of misguided of me, or it always feels, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, it always feels inappropriate of me to be giving advice on these types of things. Like, people message me very frequently and ask me, like, how should I deal with depression? How should I deal with being sad all the time? How do I become more happy? How do I deal with suicidal thoughts? Those types of things. I never know whether some people are actually serious, whether other people just say it because they want attention. And that's really the fine line in this sort of position, because I don't want to like act upon it in a certain way, like, oh, this person's just faking this because they want me to answer them, kind of thing. They should always be treated with seriousness. They should always be treated with like absolute seriousness, that maybe this person actually is going through this, and I don't want to make fun of this. I don't want to like say you're just looking for attention when really they're not, or anything like that. But I don't know. All I can say is that if you are going through stuff like this, if you are going through depression, if you are sad all the time, if you wake up in the mornings and you just don't want to do anything, if you just, because that's what it is. A lot of people say depression is feeling sad, but the people who are actually depressed, a lot of them will say, no, depression is feeling nothing. That, like, in either end of the spectrum, that when something sad happens, you don't feel sad. When something extremely positive happens, or something that you should feel happy for happens, you don't feel happy either. And that's the thing, like, they know they should be happy, but they're not feeling happy. And that's the kind of thing, and it gets inside your head then, that you don't know what's going on. Again, this is all from anecdotal experience. It's all from hearsay. It's all from listening and reading up upon it, and trying to learn as much as I can to try and help people who maybe are going through these things. Again, I'm not an authority on these types of things, so anything I say should not be taken as fact. It should be taken as just my thoughts, my experiences on these things, my best intentions on these things. They should not be taken as absolute 100% this is what you should do kind of thing. But just know that if you are going through these things, that there are people out there who can help. A lot of people who are sad or depressed or just feel like they're at the end of their tether feel like there's absolutely nobody out there. There always is. There's always somebody that you can go to, whether it be an organization or family or friends. Some people out there might not have any friends. Some people out there might not have a family who will listen to these types of things, or think, you're just sad, you'll be fine, kind of thing, and don't listen to them. But just know, just please think before you do anything. Please think about the people in your life. Please think about what could be. And don't make any rash decisions about anything. Because a lot of stuff can happen in the moment. A lot of stuff can happen in just that quick blink of an eye, that quick just point of reasoning, and then you do something that you can't ever take back. And usually it's in those moments. Okay, it's going to get heavy for a minute, but I did read a Reddit thread one time about people who tried to commit suicide and didn't, who failed, or who decided against it. And it was always a case of, a very recurring theme in them was people saying, I tried to hang myself or something. I tried to take pills, and then my body fought through it. I passed out, I woke up again, and my body was like trying to like pull the rope or something. I don't, it's getting very specific, because these are very broad like scenarios, but these were just the things I was reading, and it was like, the body's will to live is incredibly strong. And the people who came out of these things were like, most of them said, I'm so glad I did not go through with that. I'm so glad that my body fought for me when my brain or my just personality couldn't. I don't know, this is stuff that people aren't like used to seeing on this type of channel. Like I've done stuff like this before, and I don't want it to seem like a thing where I think I know what I'm talking about or pandering to people or whatever. It's just it's stuff that you read a lot, and it's stuff that, because of doing YouTube, I've heard a lot of people talk about. I get a lot of messages about it, so I want to try and like learn or grow and understand these things, like as a person who's not gone through them. So maybe I can help people. I don't know. Again, I got very serious all of a sudden. But just know that anything can happen in the moment, and all it takes is a slight moment of clarity to pull you out of something that could be absolutely disastrous. And I don't want to say that everyone who's going through depression is suicidal, because that's not the case either. But there are people out there who are going through the same thing as you. You might think you're absolutely alone and that nobody will understand anything you're going through, but there's always somebody going through the same stuff as you. Because as I've heard people say, we're all the same person at the end of the day. We're all human. We're all the same sort of basic chemistry as each other. So any sort of like prism of emotions, prism of things that you can go through is the exact same as the amount of prisms that another person can go through. They're just maybe not going through it right now. Like, everyone has the capability of going through the same stuff as each other. So if you're going through absolute sadness, you 100% have the capability of turning that around and going through absolute joy. All it takes is reaching out to some people every now and then. Or maybe, I don't know, it's not always as easy as just going, oh, reach out to people. Again, I'm doing what the game was saying, and it's not always that easy, so I apologize for that, but I don't know. I have good intentions with what I say, but again, I don't really, it's misguided because I'm living all of this through other people, and again, I haven't gone through it myself, so I'm curious how this game represented some things. Like, does it get to the extreme where you just, like, all logic goes out the window and it feels like you're living in a dream constantly, sort of thing? Do your dreams actually get that bad? So I'm curious, and I want this community to be a place. I know a lot of the videos I do is like bombastic, yelling, swearing, lots of like murder and stuff going on in games and all that, and it's all very silly at times, but I do like to bring it back to a point with these types of games, because I have played a lot of these games in the past, and I don't want to try and pigeonhole myself into all that yelling and everything, where I feel like I can't do these types of things anymore, or feel like I can open up, or feel like I can open up an outlet or a medium for you. So I like this to still be a community-based thing. The other silly stuff and all the yelling is there for the positive side. This is still for the positive side, but it's also opening up. It's not just trying to blindside the sheer pain and suffering that some people can go through with just like, it's like saying, oh, you're feeling sad? Hey, everyone, send them cat pictures, kind of thing. It's more a case of like, yes, people are suffering, and this is a community where you can come and open up and be nice to each other, and maybe you'll find somebody else in the community who's going through similar things that can help you through it. So I don't know, this has gone on like really, really long, and I'm talking a lot. I apologize for that as well. But I don't want to see anybody in the comments, because there's a lot of people who come for like the happy wheel sort of stuff, or they come for like the silly stuff, and then when anybody tries to open up about this, they shit all over them, like, this isn't the Jacksepticeye I'm used to. So I don't want to see any of that shit, because I do not condone that shit, because I'm much more than just that loud, yelling, crazy guy all the time. And a lot of you who appreciate these kind of playthroughs know that about me. So I don't want to see any sort of like, if somebody comes into the comments and they have an emotional story to tell, I don't want to see anybody belittle them for that. I do not condone that whatsoever. If you bully someone who's going through a tough time just because you think they're an attention seeker, you do not belong in this community. You are not part of this community, and I do not want to be friends with you. And you probably think, well, who cares? I don't need to be friends with you. I can still watch the videos and say whatever I want. Whatever. Be an asshole if you want to be. But there are people out there who are suffering and who want to talk to each other through these types of things. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here because I could talk all day about this sort of stuff. I would absolutely love to know your thoughts about these types of games, or this one in particular, or at least about what happened. So I'm very much open to the comments on this one, and I want to go through them and read them as best I can. So awesome. I do like doing these types of games, even though they're a bit sadder. and they open up like a better dialogue. They open up a better discussion, I think, and it really gets people talking, and it really bonds people together, and it shows a more human side to the channel and this community. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you liked it, punch that like button in the face like a boss, and high fives all round. Whoosh, whoosh. But thank you guys, and I will see all you dudes in the next video.